This golden drock delivery driver has serious ego issues and can't handle a honk for something he himself did wrong. We have failed as a human species. Well, maybe just that guy. Such a smart thing to do in a company truck. It all starts when Ian, the idiotic turd hound, passes everyone illegally using the right turn only lane.
Idiot.
When the turd hound is called out, this is what happens.
Camera.
Fuck you, pussy!
Go fuck yourself, dude. Fuck you.
I don't know what language the turd hound was speaking, but it sounded like bullshit.
Fuck off out of here. That's what I thought.
Let me introduce you to Obtuse Out to Lunch Omar. It's a little hard to tell, but Cammer said the guy started to change lanes toward him, so Cammer beeped the horn to alert him, and the guy got angry. I swear, this was the inspiration for a game called Angry Turds. The camera told me that instead of the guy taking his intended exit, he decided to follow the camera and rage some more. After having gone way out of his way to rage at the camera, now he'll definitely be late for his intracranial fecal transplant. Ready for some good old road rage? Here's what the camera had to say about this incident. Pause to read it. Okay, you read it. Now here's Reckless Ronnie with the other traffic cheater out of camera view.
Come on! Seriously, you're gonna do this?
You're gonna hit that guy.
And you're hitting that car. Like, what are you guys usually doing? All these people.
Señora, no pegó, pero mi hermana.
All these people.
What?
They're all waiting for the same thing. They're all waiting for the same thing. They're not.
The way the passenger kept pointing looks like she was trying to justify Reckless Ronnie's impatient driving. Hopefully those cheaters were as embarrassed as finally realizing that a thesaurus is not a dinosaur. Some people can't handle having anyone in front of them. Maladjusted Moody Meredith is one of them, and is in a huge hurry for that 50% off sale on Vagisil. We're in a double turn lane, and she wants to get ahead of as many cars as she can.
California 12 East.
Asshole, sorry.
Continue for 6.
But she's not quite done with us yet. Her driving is as worthless as a porcupine in a condom factory. As it turns out, she is the porcupine in the condom factory. Meet Ragey Ralph, whose brain is operating in limp mode after hitting that bong too many times this afternoon. He has the chance to go now, but stops for some reason and waits for the camera to get closer before then proceeding to cut him off.
Go already. Come on.
Apparently the honk hurt his feelings, and he proceeded to drive slow on purpose to spite the camera. And now he's imitating Fingerman and has too much air between his ears.
What? What? Fuck you! Go! Go! Speed it up! is right behind us!
Selfish Sam, who thinks the shoulder is his personal lane. But this guy sees what's happening and tries to block him.
What's he doing?
Jeff, the turd cake chef, won't acknowledge when he's wrong. In his mind, he's always right, and how dare anyone challenge his impeccable driving skills. Just because you have your turn signal on doesn't mean you're good to go. Gotta show everyone who's boss, huh? As if one ineffective brake check wasn't enough, he's gotta try for one more. His temper tantrum made about as much sense as Bobby Knight writing a book about anger management, and heaven knows Jeff the turd cake chef could use a lot of it. Louise Lamebrain is too busy being mentally flaccid to pay attention to the light. Just like the First Lady, she also has an ego the size of Moby's dick. And gets her feelings hurt by the horn. Finger woman, I've heard about you.
Oh yeah, flip me off.
You're about to meet a narcissistic couple who both always blame other people for their own bad behavior. I'd rather get gassed in an elevator by a man who ate too many dollar tacos on Taco Tuesday than to deal with people like them. But it's not quite over. In her last pathetic display of narcissism, she rolls down the window to show us the state bird of California once again. This is what happens when someone gets tired of aggressive drivers and finally snaps. This RAV4 driver is driving along when the minivan changes lanes in front of him or her. Doesn't look too bad yet. But then, Willie Stroker, the brain fart joker, a malignant excuse for a car driver, aggressively weasels his way in front of this guy, and this guy whose lane is ending. Then cuts off the RAV4 driver, who's not having it.
Oh my god. Yeah, he was not having it. Oh my god.
But there's no excuse for that either. That near miss was about as close as Justin Bieber came to not making the most annoying celebrity list back in the day. It's rush hour, and Pissy Pants Priscilla is losing her mind that there are other cars on the road. She's either dealing with a pickled brain, or she can't wait to download her brown load. Even where this opens up to a dual-lane freeway, traffic is thick and not moving the most smoothly, and she's not having any of it. This lorry driver is a bit aggressive himself with the tailgating. Calm down, Pissy Pants, or perhaps Poopy Pants, if she can't get to her porcelain throne in time. But this is where her frustration became directed at us. As traffic moves quicker and the left lane picks up the pace, she's probably mad that we didn't move over right away, but we wanted to get past one more driver. And now the finger. That isn't the kind of bird watching we had in mind.
Pneumonia.
Yeah, so she's on medication. She's feeling much better from the medication.
There's a bit of road rage between these two. Instead of just staying in the lane she needs, sassy Sandy changes lanes only to want to immediately change back, completely forgetting there's a car next to her, but has the nerve to get angry for her own mistake.
Oh, nobody's going back. What are you doing?
Cammer said that the initial recipient of her anger delivers a bit of a brake check to sassy Sandy.
You got over and then you didn't, lady. How about that? Although I don't agree with the minivan raging while he has kids in the car.
When competing for a Darwin Award, sassy Sandy is the toughest competition in town. Impeding traffic in this manner is illegal. But tough guy Timmy has a chip on his shoulder, a very stale one. Fingerman, I've heard about you. Then they go right back to impeding traffic again. Brains don't exist in this dojo, do they? Crackhead Kathy's family members really get around like a fart through the air ducts. Star-spangled powder-sniffing Stephanie not only has steering issues, but has serious anger issues too. She's merging onto the freeway, drifts toward us a little, then swerves back. Then can't pick a lane. Now this isn't the worst cutoff in the world, but it's a bit too close for freeway speeds and no turn signal.
What the fuck is her problem?
Apparently, the horn hurt her fragile feelings, because now she's losing her mind, shaking and wagging her finger, flipping us off repeatedly, and now she's gonna drive slowly. We weren't sure at the time if she was driving slowly on purpose, but after a while of this snail on Xanax pace, we both get tired of it and want to get past her so we can get on with our lives at a normal pace. But getting past her would turn out to be a huge mistake, because it would only further inflame her ego that's bigger than Moby's dick.
Just go past her.
So far it looks like getting past her will work, but as we're about to change lanes, she floors it, and then this happens.
Oh no, she's playing a game. She's playing a fucking game.
Now she's deploying the windshield wash fluid. My wife is now extremely terrified of that lady, so we both decide the best thing to do is to drive even slower than we were when we were behind her, to let her get as far ahead of us as possible.
Those are the kind of people that get right in front of you and hit their brake real hard and don't give a fuck.
In our post-lockdown world, people have really lost their minds. Crackhead Kathy's junkie uncle, Timmy Two-Faced Turd Toucher's head, is so far up his butt, he has to unzip his fly to brush his teeth. And I feel real bad for his dentist. He starts out by aggressively darting into traffic, but it gets so much worse. He seems to get triggered when this BMW driver speeds past him, and then changes lanes in front of him.
Whoa!
Wow.
After risking a crash, he actually runs the red light.
Holy shit!
Here he's at the next red light, and just out of camera view, he runs this light too.
There he goes. Oh, he ran the light again.
Yeah, he did.
And this tyrannical sore-ass Rex needs anger management too. He's leaving Charles Krug Winery around the time that winery employees in the area start heading home. Not only does he pull out too close to this oncoming car, he cuts us off as well, forcing us to brake pretty hard. then doubles down on his stupidity and brake checks us, then drives slowly on purpose out of spite. Once his temper tantrum is over with, he gets up to normal speed. But his bad driving is not quite over. Do you think he has the consideration to use a turn signal? Of course not. Here neither. He gets a WTF gesture, and then we move on. Whoever you are, sir, get that stick out of your ass and learn to drive better. Suck up your pride and admit when you're wrong. Then this guy in the U-turn line ends up wanting to cut in line after the U-turn.
You're not gonna bully your way in.
And now the Porsche driver is yelling at the line cutter and gesturing at him.
Are you gonna hit the Porsche because you're trying to bully your way in? He's having a word with him.
Line cutter then gets mad at the camera for not letting him cut in line.
You're the one who is trying to cut in here, dude.
Selfish, salty scrote Sam, taking up the middle of the driveway so I can't turn in. After backing up a tad, he still fails to correct the situation. Then the gesture.
Asshole!
Sure, shouting at him may seem like overkill, but he shouldn't have been hogging the driveway to begin with. There always has to be that turd in a root beer float, and today it's him. Like a hot, gusty wind from someone's ass, dumbass Duke on dope comes roaring up, and gets close enough to Cammer's ass that he's impersonating a hemorrhoid.
You can back off. Don't you look at me.
The camera here gets honked at for stopping for a pedestrian.
What are you honking at?
Crackhead Kathy's niece, crank-snorting Crystal driving this 4,000-pound junkyard candidate, is angry that she has to wait a few seconds for me to back up. You can see her yelling something. As we drove by, she continued her fit.
What happened?
She was like, "Wah!" And she yelled out the window. "Wah!"
Oh, she was actually having a fit?
It must be nice going through life like a soiled diaper. When we first see butthurt backwards Brenda, she's putting on makeup while driving. She's still doing her makeup. She also wants to exit the highway very soon, but can't be bothered to get into the right lane well ahead of time. According to her, her lack of planning becomes our fault. When she realizes she isn't going to make it, she slams the brakes, gets mad, and flips us off. This is what happens when one is mentally bankrupt and her brain won't qualify for a bailout. I seem to anger people and almost get rear-ended stopping for stop signs. This is an acceleration lane, specifically for cars turning right on red, so that they can merge onto this highway. But Numbnuts McGee makes things more difficult than they need to be, although we could have planned our merge a little better. We positioned ourselves to merge between this minivan and Numbnuts, and he sped up a bit to discourage our merge and gets mad.
No, so that's another thing they do here. They're total dicks. Like, so excuse my French.
There is like a...
It isn't clear for morbidly moronic Mike to go, and he cuts off both directions of traffic. And now he's on the wrong side of the road in the oncoming turn lane. He even got flipped off by one of the drivers he cut off. His ever becoming a better driver is about as likely as space aliens landing on my butt. Grievously grumpy, grubby Gail is tailgating this person so closely, she may as well be giving them a colonoscopy. After they turn off, her tailgating turns to us, and we're already going 5 over. And it goes on for mile after mile after mile. After a half hour of her nonsense, we've finally had enough, and we gesture wildly for her to back off. She responds by gesturing back with who knows what, and I couldn't tell if she flipped us off too, but she did back off after that. Sedated snail Sammy doesn't like to be honked at for sitting at a green light. He honks back. Then proceeds slowly. Because we never let them get the last honk, and he's moving slowly, he earns another honk, for which he honks back again. He did not get the last honk. His driving game is as weak as a wiener with erectile dysfunction. Drivers oftentimes aren't expecting me to come to a complete stop at stop signs. He panic brakes and then yells at me.
The guy behind me was not expecting me to come to a full stop.
No, I heard him say shit.
He had his window open, and my wife heard him yell, "Shit," and then yell some other stuff, but the cameras didn't pick it up. If I wanted to hear from an asshole, I would fart. But also his brain is in limp mode. He's old enough that another part of him has permanently gone into limp mode too, and we all know what part that is. You're about to see what happens when an aggressive driver meets a driver who puts aggressive drivers in their place. Desmond the bloke who farts like a two-stroke wants to speed way faster than everyone else is already speeding. As soon as Speedy Gonzalez tries to weave around the old man in the red Ferrari man speeds up to block the douchemeister. He will not let the douchemeister get his way, and the douchemeister is now forced to go with the flow of traffic. As soon as the right lane opens up again, douchemeister tries once again to get past red Ferrari man.
Oh my god, you can't beat that red car, buddy.
Oh, he's trying hard to beat him.
But once again, red Ferrari man speeds up to block douchemeister, and douchemeister is forced to concede. At this point, douchemeister gives up trying to douche his way through traffic and calms down, goes with the flow, and remains behind the Ferrari. You're about to meet Adolf Schittler. He's really gonna fight to get ahead while being an offensive crap lord and irritating other drivers. We first see him changing lanes. Again. And again. As I'm about to pass a slower moving big rig, he thinks about squeezing through the tiny shrinking gap, but instead ends up squeezing into this tiny space behind me, to the displeasure of this chauffeur driver. That ups the douchometer already. I want to give this big rig plenty of room before I move over to let faster traffic pass, and for a second, that douche thinks he's going to go around me before I can move over. His desperation to get ahead continues, and it's both angering and comical. After being cut off this second time, chauffeur driver sure isn't happy. Chauffeur is going to return the favor. In a surprising twist, our douche lord actually gives up his position to zipper merge behind this guy. However, he then illegally uses the left turn lane to pass the guy he just let in front of him. The driver of this Mustang is going to end up having a beef with this Jeep driver. Not chicken or fish, but beef. Did the Jeep get too close to her for her liking? We'll never know. As we move along, she moves to the left lane, immediately hits the brakes, slows down and gets in behind the Jeep. Now she's tailgating him. He gives a possible brake check, and she flashes him.
Oh, he's flashing that guy.
Nothing else happened after that. Alright guys, there's a lot more exciting content to come, so be sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon, drop a comment below, give us a thumbs up and share. Also, check out some of our other videos. Thank you for watching.